Today is my dad's 50th birthday, and I have never met him. I've never heard the sound of his voice, I've only seen his face in pictures, and the majority of his family, including to my knowledge my own siblings, have no idea I even exist. I don't even know if my dad knows my name. If my dad died tomorrow, I wouldn't get a phone call. I wouldn't know until I saw an obituary online, because all I know about my dad is just whatever I can find about him on the internet, which isn't much. To know my dad has kept me a secret from pretty much everyone in his life for more than half of his own existence and my entire life is a very weird feeling. I don't know if weird is the right word. I have compassion for my dad, but it's hard not to feel the sting of knowing that you've been kept a secret. I talk a lot about adoption, and I think one of the biggest misconceptions about open adoption, being one of the first people to grow up in a quote-unquote open adoption, is this idea that openness in adoption suddenly takes away any question marks when it comes to an adopted person's identity. I don't think I've gone a day in my life without thinking about this man who lives in a different country, a person I've never met and might not ever meet before I die. It's a very weird feeling to know my dad has turned 50 and knows virtually nothing about me. I think it can be difficult for some to understand why I connect my feelings about my dad with adoption, given that if my mom chose to raise me on her own, my dad probably wouldn't have been in the picture regardless. But I would argue these people need to look at adoption more critically if they ever want to understand what it's actually like to be me, to be an adopted person with this experience. Because the day I was born, I was issued a birth certificate with my dad's name on it, and that birth certificate was sealed and put behind lock and key in the courts. I was then issued a new birth certificate, a piece of paper that said that I was actually born to the people who adopted me, not the people who actually created me, legally erasing any connection I have to my dad or anyone in my family in Ireland. I think adoption, and even open adoption, can make it easy for parents to ignore their children because on paper, my dad is not my dad. He's just some guy in Ireland as opposed to someone who would have shared my last name even if I grew up with a single mother. I never consented to the legal erasure of my dad and my mom from my life. But it is this erasure that has made it extremely easy for my dad to ignore me and pretend I don't exist for decades. I just wish I could know something, anything about my dad and his life. I wish I could just have a glimpse into what his life is like. But as an adopted person who's been kept a secret, to say hi to my dad and reveal myself to him and his family is to reveal to everyone that my dad has kept a secret from them past his 50th birthday. And as someone who has been living this life for decades, that is a cross that no one should have to bear.